there's a truth that high-value men don't just know, they live it. Respect? You don't chase it. You don't beg for it. You become it. Here's the cold reality most men never hear. Women don't respect your promises, they respect your principles. They don't care what you say yes to, they watch what you say no to. Respect comes from your standards, not your speeches. And the moment she stops looking at you like a man, it's not because you stopped loving her. It's because you stopped respecting yourself. You gave away your power, piece by piece. In every moment you avoided conflict. In every time you let something slide. In every it's okay when it really wasn't. That ends now. I'm about to give you 5 boundaries, not to control her, but to master you. To become so clear, so grounded in who you are, that she has no choice but to recalibrate the way she sees you. If you're ready to live with that level of self-respect, comment below. I choose respect. Number 1, never reward disrespect. If there's one raw, bitter truth every man must swallow, it's this. The moment you allow disrespect, you become replaceable. It doesn't matter how long you've been with her, what you've done, or how deep you think your bond is. The second she realizes you'll put up with being belittled, ignored, mocked, or challenged just for her amusement, something shifts. You're no longer a man to be earned. You become a man to be used. And here's the punchline most men never want to hear. That moment is exactly where your power begins. Because once a woman senses that you'll keep showing up, loyal, devoted, available, even after she chips away at your dignity, she doesn't admire you anymore. She tolerates you. She uses you. She keeps you around like an emotional crutch, for convenience, not love. She might still say the words "I love you," but watch closely. What's the tone? What's in her eyes? How does she speak to you when there's no one else around? That's where the truth lives. Respect isn't in the compliments. It's in the consistency. It's in how she treats you when she has nothing to gain from pretending. If you keep rewarding disrespect, by staying silent when she mocks you, by apologizing for things she did wrong, by chasing her after she ghosts you, then the message you send is loud and clear. My self-worth depends on your attention. And that's the death of desire. Now understand this. Women don't test you because they are cruel. They test you because it's instinct. It's how they gauge your strength. A man without boundaries isn't safe. He's soft. And soft spaces get walked on, not walked with. When she challenges your values or undermines your authority, and you fold to keep the peace, she doesn't feel loved, she feels unsafe. Because if you can't protect your dignity, how can you protect her? So what's the move? How do you start building the quiet, unshakable respect that softens her voice and steadies her tone when she speaks to you? Simple, you create consequence without chaos. You become the man who never yells, never begs, never explains himself, but also never tolerates disrespect, not even once. Let me give you the playbook. Step 1. Recognize disrespect in all its forms. It's not just screaming or insults. It's when she talks over you, mocks your goals, mentions her ex just to trigger you, calls you insecure when you ask valid questions, shuts down communication with silence. Each one is a micro cut to your soul. Step 2. Address it. One time. Calmly. Directly. Say, "Don't speak to me like that again." And mean it. If it happens again, you leave. No threats. No games. No long explanations. She will either level up or walk away. And if she walks, good. You just lost someone who was draining your energy. That's not rejection. That's a filter. This isn't just about women. It's about how you move through life. Your boss, your friends, your family. How you let people treat you is how they decide your value. A man with no boundaries will always burn out. He'll feel used, bitter, and broken. But a man who honors his own standards? He becomes a force. A rock. Someone people respect before he even speaks. So here's the hard part. How do you stay strong when you're attached? When she's the only woman you've ever really loved? Here's the truth most men run from. If you're addicted to her attention, you're not building something powerful in your own life. Redirect that obsession. Build your body because strength breeds clarity. Lift heavy. Run early. Sweat on purpose. Let pain turn into discipline. Start that business you've been dreaming of. Learn a skill that makes you valuable, not just to women, but to the world. Create. Write. Read. Clean your space. Fix your finances. Cut off weak friends. Stop tolerating environments that drain you. Build a personal code and follow it like it's sacred. Because the day you stop tolerating disrespect from her is the same day you stop tolerating mediocrity in yourself. And that's the moment everything changes. You won't need respect. You'll command it. People will feel it in your presence. In your eyes. In the way you speak, or don't. And one day, the woman who once played games with you, she'll see you again. She won't even recognize you. You won't have to say a word, she'll know. She lost access to something rare. Something evolved. Something sacred. And that will haunt her more than anything you could ever say. That's how you rise. That's how you become unshakable. Draw the line. And stand behind it, even if you're standing alone. Start now. Your time is not infinite. And every second you tolerate disrespect is a second wasted. Don't wait for rock bottom. Build your foundation now. And never, ever, reward disrespect again. Number 2, guard your peace. If there's one thing that will define the rest of your life as a man, it's not fame. It's not money. It's not success, cars, or even love. It's peace. Not the peace you stumble into. The peace you build. The peace you protect. The peace you guard like a warrior in a storm. Because without it, you're not living. You're surviving. Reacting. Pleasing. Performing. Performing for women. For your friends. For people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared tomorrow. There comes a moment in every man's life when he must wake up and realize his peace is his power. Not his charm. Not his body count. Not his bank account. Peace. Because peace isn't passive, it's presence. It's the space between stimulus and response where you make a choice. The choice not to react. Not to explain. Not to chase. Not to fold under pressure. It's the quiet confidence that speaks louder than words. You walk in a room, and people feel it. Not because you're loud, but because your silence has weight. But here's the truth. Most men leak their peace daily. With every text they rush to reply to. Every pointless argument they walk into. Every favor done out of guilt. Every late night call with someone who never cared in the light of day. Peace is leaking. Until one day, you're empty. A shell. Going through the motions, not building, just drifting. You can't build an empire with a cluttered mind. You can't lead a relationship when your soul is anxious. You can't demand respect when you're constantly begging for relief from the chaos you let in. And women? They notice. They know when your time isn't sacred, when your energy isn't protected. If your life bends to every mood swing, every text, every storm, She's not impressed. She feels like she's driving the car, and no woman respects a man she has to steer. So what does it mean to guard your peace? It means becoming unavailable to noise. Not as a defense but as a lifestyle. You look at your phone, your habits, your relationships and ask, does this protect my peace or poison it? If it poisons, it goes. Quietly. No drama. No announcements. Just gone. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop chasing validation that costs your identity. You stop scrolling endlessly because you're not here to numb. You're here to build. You don't sleep in, and not because of hustle culture, but because your life is urgent. You walk alone, not out of loneliness, but because your solitude is a sanctuary. You train your body, not for likes, but because discipline is spiritual armor. You keep your space clean, not for guests, but because chaos can't survive where order lives. Peace is power. Because the man who owns his peace owns his world. The man who doesn't flinch at chaos. Doesn't react to drama. Doesn't chase when pulled. He is untouchable. That's the man women can't explain but crave. That's the man employers trust. That's the man other men respect. And when a woman brings emotional noise, it's not always to break you. Sometimes, she just wants to see. Where are your edges? Do you bend when she pushes? And if every poke gets a reaction, she sees there is no core. Just noise. But when you sit still, stay grounded, speak only when you choose, you don't just have peace. You become it. And then, she has two choices. She adapts to your frame. Or she walks. Either way, you win. Because of your peace? It's non-negotiable. You want to change your life? Then build a peace so strong, it offends the chaotic. So real, it no longer flinches when people say, you've changed. Because you did. You stopped leaking and started leading. You stopped chasing and started choosing. And everything you once ran after. Respect, love, admiration. Now follow me. You became rare. You became grounded. You became whole. And that's the man no storm can shake. Number 3, don't share too much. She says she wants to know everything about you. But the truth? She doesn't. Not really. She doesn't want to hold your entire emotional world. She wants to feel your depth, not drown in it. She wants to discover you over time, not be handed every corner of your soul like a brochure on date 3. Because the moment you unload everything, every insecurity, every fear, every wound, you stop being a mystery and start becoming a project. And women don't fall in love with projects. They fall for men who carry their own weight. Men who speak with purpose. Who knows how to hold space without spilling every emotion? You've been told to be open. To share more. To be vulnerable. But ask yourself, how did that really serve you? Did she pull you closer when you opened up about your anxiety? Did she look at you the same after you broke down about life being unfair? Or did something subtle shift in her eyes? That unspoken moment where she stopped seeing you as her rock and started seeing you as her emotional equal. Sounds noble, right? But here's the hard truth. She doesn't want to carry you. She wants to lean on you. There's a sacred distance that creates attraction. Not dishonesty. Not coldness. Distance. The space between what she thinks you are and what she still doesn't fully know. That gap? That's where desire lives. That's what keeps her leaning in, wondering, craving. When you kill the mystery, you kill the tension. And when the tension dies, so does the desire. This isn't about being emotionless. You bleed. You struggle. You doubt. But the difference between a man who's respected and a man who's just tolerated is how he carries those emotions. He doesn't offload. He doesn't beg to be understood. He integrates. Quietly. Steadily. Alone if he must. A respected man reveals just enough. He gives glimpses, not blueprints. Presence, not explanations. He doesn't chase connection through confession. He creates connection through centeredness, through control, and through silence. Because silence makes her lean in. Not because you're hiding something, but because you're protecting something sacred, yourself. You want to change your life? Then stop treating your story like a therapy session. Start treating it like a treasure chest. Something she earns access to. Something she works to unlock. Speak when it matters. Not when you're uncomfortable. Reveal your heart in doses, not downloads. Not because you're afraid, but because you respect yourself. And the man who does that? He becomes rare. He becomes unforgettable. Not because of what he shares, but because of what he carries. So stop trying to be relatable. Start becoming untouchable. Because she doesn't crave a man who spills. She craves a man who stands. With peace. With presence. With quiet power. Number 4, no emotional reactivity. Control isn't the absence of emotion. It's the presence of mastery. A man who can't be emotionally shakenable by others is a man who's starting to understand the roots of real strength. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he's no longer ruled by what he feels in the moment. The world wants you reactive. Women test for reactivity. Weak men live in reactivity. But the man who stays still in the storm, that man dominates silently. You've seen it. She changes her tone, pulls away, and drops a sarcastic line, and suddenly your stomach flips. Your mind spins. You chase her words like wind trying to catch water. That's emotional reactivity. It's when your inner world is owned by someone else's external behavior. And once she senses she has that power over you, the dynamic begins to rot from the inside out. But listen, this isn't about being cold. This is about sovereignty. Emotional sovereignty. It's about feeling everything without being enslaved by it. A sovereign man can stand in front of a woman testing his limits. A boss doubting his value. A stranger disrespecting him. And not be moved. No lashing out. No defending. No begging for understanding. Just stillness. Powerful. Calm. Rooted. That's what women test for, not drama, not reactions. They're testing for depth. Are you stable when it matters? Is your strength foundational or just situational? And when you pass that test, she doesn't just relax. She melts. Because in a world of boys who fold, a man who doesn't blink is a revelation. But you can't fake this. You can't pretend to be calm while boiling underneath. This is deeper. It starts with owning your triggers. Face the parts of you that flinch at disapproval, panic at distance, or race to defend your worth. You look those parts in the eye and say, you don't lead anymore. And then you practice the pause. The space between stimulus and response. That space is where kings are born. You begin to hear what's behind her words, rather than reacting to the words themselves. You stop chasing closure. You stop defending your character to people who aren't even qualified to judge it. Your attention becomes gold. And people start noticing that if they want access to it. They better come correct. The ones who used to provoke you? They get frustrated. They can't move you anymore. And the ones who respect strength? They start gravitating toward you. Because calm attracts clarity. And clarity repels chaos. You'll notice it. You talk less. You move slower. You study more. You don't flinch at her silence or mood swings. You don't try to fix her waves, you hold them. And that's when she trusts you more than any man she's ever known. Not because you saved her, but because you didn't lose yourself trying to. And in life, that's your edge. That's the superpower that elevates you above most men. Because most men? They're slaves to emotion dressed up as passion. They fight battles that don't matter. Burn bridges over bruised pride. Chase validation to fix inner wounds. But you? You walk around chaos like it's beneath you, because it is. Your idea gets questioned? You smile. A friend betrays you? You disappear like oxygen from fire. People talk behind your back? You say nothing because truth doesn't panic. You get ghosted? Rejected? You don't crumble. You rise. Quietly. With purpose. Emotional discipline means you stop giving others the steering wheel to your life. You stop letting feelings dictate your direction. And start building your kingdom, one solid boundary at a time. Number 5, always be willing to walk away. Too many men live lives that drain their spirit. They wake up to jobs that kill their passion. Stay in relationships that chip away at their masculinity. Hang on to friendships that mock who they truly are. And why? Because they're scared. Scared of starting over. Scared of being alone. Scared of what people might think if they finally choose themselves. So they settle. They shrink. They force a smile and whisper, "It's not that bad." But over time, something worse happens. They become invisible. Not just to the world but to themselves. But then, there's another kind of man. A rare one. A man who's willing to walk away from anything that insults his soul. That man? He's dangerous. Not because he's aggressive, but because he's free. He doesn't stay for comfort. He stays because it aligns with his standards. And the second it doesn't, he's gone. Especially in relationships. Women feel that difference. They know when a man is clinging to her out of fear of being alone. And when he's with her, it's because she brings peace, growth, and purpose into his world. That first kind of man? She'll test him endlessly. But the second? She respects him deeply. She brings her best because she knows if she doesn't, he will walk. Walking away doesn't mean you're heartless. It means you're loyal to yourself. It's saying, "I love you but I love my values more. I care but not at the cost of my peace. I see you but I won't lose sight of me." That's not cold. That's clarity. That's power. It purifies your circle. It upgrades your space. It turns your life into a reflection of your highest self, not your most fearful one. When you live this way, people only have two options. Rise to your level or leave. There's no middle ground. And that's exactly how it should be. You have to be so rooted in your worth that you can walk away from attention, from comfort, from validation, even from love. If it means staying loyal to your purpose, that's when you become truly powerful. Not to others, but to everything that once held you back. And here's what no one tells you. The real growth begins after you walk. The strength? The clarity? They don't come while you're still holding on. They come in the silence that follows. In the stillness where you finally meet the next version of you. The man who no longer begs. The man who no longer tolerates disrespect. The man who remembers exactly who he is. Walk away from anything that makes you forget your worth. Because the moment you choose self-respect over comfort, that's when your real life begins. The man you were? He's not here anymore. And the man you're becoming? He doesn't chase applause. He sets the standard. He doesn't crumble when the pressure hits. He sharpens. In silence. He doesn't beg to be understood. He becomes undeniable. You were never born to kneel for love, or attention, or approval. You were built to walk with quiet strength. To carry that calm, unshakable power that doesn't ask for respect. It commands it through action, through discipline, through presence. And if you feel that shift happening inside you right now, don't ignore it. Don't let it fade. Lock it in. Because this isn't the end of your story. This is chapter 1 of a new era. The era of the man who no longer settles. The man who no longer tolerates being less than who he was born to be. If this message woke something in you, if it reminded you of the man you were always meant to become, then do something with it. Subscribe to the channel. Comment below, I choose respect over validation. Share this with a brother who needs to hear it, because maybe no one ever told him what he was capable of. This isn't just a video. This is a movement. Let's build better men. Quietly.